Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Wacky Races was a game I initially bought at the CMON Expo, and when I put it down on the table, I was admittedly a little disappointed. And then the more I played the game and more to play the game, I realized this is a children's game. And that should have been obvious from the IP, but it was a game that I wasn't prepared for. It's a very easy game. A lot of it's luck based on what you draw, and that's fine. And everybody has these 4 special power cards they can do. And at the same time, Dick Dastardly is causing problems and these traps that he's putting on you, which adds a little bit of a catch-up mechanism to the game where normally, in a normal circumstance, he's going to hit whoever's in first or second place, and everybody else has an opportunity to catch up. A couple of the flaws I have with the games, I wish it was a little bit longer, honestly, and sometimes I think I can play it, I'll just add some more road into it to make it a little bit longer. I enjoy that experience a little bit more, and it kind of takes some of the luck out of it a little bit, I think. But if somebody's running away with it, it does end it a little bit sooner. Otherwise, this is a fantastic racing game for kids. I'm surprised this game was considered more of a dud, or maybe didn't get picked up as much as I thought it would be. And sometimes it happens when you have a deluxe version and a retail version. The retail came out first with unpainted miniatures. Everybody was kind of waiting on the deluxe version. Then once it comes out, everybody kind of wants that pre-painted one. I think that might have happened a little bit. And there were some issues with the deluxe coming out. I think it came out a year after the retail. So some people had a problem with that. I would definitely take the deluxe version over the retail. I think it's just a much nicer presentation, although it will cost more. I did a video of a comparison of those two so you can see exactly what comes in each box. As for me, I find this to be a very good children's game. I don't know that it would lend itself to adults very much, maybe as a light filler, something really quick to play, but really this is going to be in the family and child reign right here. It's a very, very nice production, especially if you get the deluxe version. I don't think the retail version is all that nice, although the miniatures are nice, but the playing pieces, the map and all that you're using is not, those tiles, not good. But the deluxe edition is very, very good. And this is honestly a racing game you could bring out year after year. Now, the more you like Wacky Races, the more I think that you'll like this because it really brings that IP into it and a fantastic job they did with it. For me, this is a keeper. This is definitely the racing game I go to with my children. Wacky Races Deluxe Edition is going to come with a fully painted model cars. I did do a comparison between this and the retail version of the non-deluxe. So if you want to see the components of that, you can actually see that video. Be a very easy video for you to get to. Here are the rule books and a quick start rules. We'll go through those in a few minutes. This game is going to give you the tiles instead of the paper cards that you're going to get in the other one. Now, I haven't played this particular version. It's the same game. It just has different components because I had the other version for so long. This one's going to come with a cardboard starting track that you're going to have for the boards. You're going to have little player cards for all the people that are going to be in here. You have these little small cards that will be the deck of cards that you'll have. And then this version, the deluxe version, has all the pre-painted miniatures that you can see in here. These are going to be really nice, all painted up. I have done a comparison, so I showed all of these in great detail. I would tell you to look at that if you want to see the detail. But as for the components themselves, these miniatures are really good. They're all painted up. The tiles are hard cardboard. Everything is really nice in this version compared to the retail. This one's a little bit nicer, but the components are pretty good, especially for a children's game. And you're going to have a custom insert in here also. So here's the rules. This is going to be the quick start rules. If you already kind of know how to play and you just want to kind of get moving, you can kind of see how to play here. This is really nice. It's big, but it has everything you want to do. If you want to do championship rules and run through some kind of like season, if you will, you could do this, apparently. And this is going to be the normal rule book, which is different artwork than the box. Picture of all the components, overview. Table of contents, which is fantastic. And then you're going to get kind of an explanation. These are still all the components, a list of them and kind of what they do. And then the goal of the game, how to choose your racers, kind of what the decks do and what you should be looking at. Then you're going to set up the course over here and be ready, and then you'll be able to play starting right here on page 9. This is a big book with a lot of white, so the rules are very simple about how you move through here. You can see Dick Dastardly is kind of walking you through how to play a little bit. Then the end of the round, what's going to happen here, what's going to happen with Dick Dastardly and kind of how he works in this version. And then any special powers that you have, how to set up traps, and the extra terrain that you're going to have in the game. Once again, a lot of that's going to be on this quick start rules. This is pretty fantastic. Now, this rule book has some updates that the retail version doesn't have, so you might want to download this one if you have the other version. Set the game is going to be pretty simple. You're going to have a starting thing here, which will be a board. You're going to have one car per terrain, and Dick Dastardly, the NPC, the bad guy of the group, will be last in line. If you don't have this many players, these would just be off to the side. Then you're going to build a board that will come off the start. I'm doing this just for space. And you would have many more tiles in this. There are a ton of tiles in this game to make a longer experience. I just kind of want to show you the basics of how to play the game. Then you're going to shuffle up the deck of the terrain cards. You will shuffle up Dick Dastardly's cards. And everybody will pick a character in the game to be. I'll show you all the characters in just a minute. And then each character is going to have their own set of 4 cards that will give them powers. I'll jump into this in just a few minutes about how this works. But I want to give you a general idea of how to play the game first. So even though you're going to start here, I'm going to push all this aside. And I'm going to scoot this out. I just kind of want to show you some basics about the game. This will be the easiest way to kind of teach it than it would be to set up the whole game. I think this is enough to signify on how you're moving. So the characters are kind of moving this way, if you will. And let's say Dick is behind them. So you're kind of moving this way, trying to get to the finish. Now on each board, you're going to have you're going to have one of these special tiles. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them included in the game. One at random will be included. I'm going to get to these in just a moment. Now the first thing you can do, let's say I'm this person. I can play any terrain card I want, and I can move. Doesn't matter. Just one terrain card. Then, if I wanted to move again, I would have to play a matching terrain card from my hand. Remember, I'm going to have 3 cards in my hand. So if it was on green, I could play a green card, and I would get to move ahead. Now, if I didn't have a purple card in my hand, I would have to stop. If I did have a purple card, I can discard it and move to another location. Keep in mind, the first movement is any card, and then it has to be the matching card after that. Then I would draw 3 more cards from the movement pile, and then Dick Dastardly would move. Now, whatever card is on top of the discard pile, in this case purple, Dick is going to move to that spot. Now, he doesn't move on the sides, he moves directly on the spot. And that's important because there can be as many as 2, one on each side of the players. If a third player was going to move here, they would not count that space and continue to move. So when you're behind, that's kind of your catch-up mechanism, is that if these tiles get clouded, you can keep moving and it doesn't count, so you can go right over it. Now, if Dick ever becomes the lead character, let's say this guy wasn't here, and this was a setup, and Dick moved here, and now he is the lead character, he will drop a trap tile onto that card. Then he would move back to last place. That's kind of how he works. So he will drop this there and then move back. So he's constantly moving back because he's taking time to set the traps. If Dick ever gets to the finish line, he will run out of gas and he gets removed from the game. Dick Dastardly cannot win. Now, it's a little bit of an activation because you're going to have some neutral racers in the game if you play less than 6. After everybody moves, then you follow the card, move all neutral racers 1 space, reveal a card, a movement card, move all neutral racers currently on that card's terrain type 1 space, repeat step 2, repeat step. So if say it's a neutral guy, he would move 1 step. Then I would draw a card. If it matched the location, which it does not, he does not move. And then let's say I drew another card and it happened to match his location, he would move up again. So he has a chance of moving 3 also if those random cards come out. The first player to get to the end will win the game. Now, if a player ever moves up and he moves to a spot with a trap, you would immediately turn it over and do whatever the trap says. It's a mud pool. Don't refresh your hand back up to 3 cards at the end of your turn. And there's a whole bunch of these that things can be. So here's a broken bridge. On your next turn, you can only play 1 movement card. Oil, all of the racers move forward a tile. The 2 racers furthest from the finish line move 2 tiles. Move backwards 2. But what's interesting is that each of these cards are also going to have an icon on them. And what's going to be important about that is some of the powers that are included for the different players will be able to combat those. So they're going to have different powers. So here's Captain Caveman. Discard 1 card and draw 3 cards. Play after you reveal a trap, you draw 4. Cancel a boulder trap. So this is a really good, important one, because let's say Captain Caveman landed on a boulder. He could just flip this card over and use it and completely ignore the boulder altogether. So some of these will have different stuff. She has cancel a painted trap or an oil. Discard to 3 cards, or else the number of cards. If you don't get the hand that you want, she has a charmed life. Move forward 3 tiles. So you have 4. Everybody will have 4 when you start the game that you can utilize. And when you spend one of these, you just flip it over to signify that it's been used. Now the last thing I'm going to show you, these special tiles. There'll be 1 in each game. If you want to be crazy, you could put more in. So this is a swamp tile, and it ignores tile space rules. can have any number of racers on it. In order to move away, you must discard 2 identical or any 3 movement cards. Then you're going to see, let's see, the railroad crossing. When you move on to this tile, the racer in last place moves ahead 1 space. There are 2 racers tiled. The player whose racer will land on the railroad crossing can choose which racer moves first. So when you move on this tile, the racer in last place moves ahead 1 spot. That can be very helpful as a catch-up mechanic. Here is Crossroads. When a racer ends their turn on this tile, they can swap the positions of any 2 tiles in the racetrack. Here's the Laboratory. When the lead racer moves onto this tile, reveal the top card of the movement deck. Place a trap on that deck. Get it? Acme Labs. And this is going to be the gas station. This is the one you're going to play with the initial setup. When the racer in last place moves on this tile, you get to unexhaust one of your special powers. Very important. Remember how I said you had 4 of these, and when you use one, they're forever gone. Well, the gas station will allow you to flip one of these back over, and you will be able to use it again. I like using more of these and creating a longer experience, more wacky experience. I do like using these, but the game requires you to have 1 in as you play. And that's pretty much what you're going to be doing. It's a racing game, very simply. Any card to move the first time, then you want the matching terrain of the tile that you're on. In this case, green. In this case, yellow. First one to the end is your winner. Who should buy this game? First off, if you like Wacky Races. If that IP is driven and you like the Hanna Barbera cartoon, this is definitely something that you'll want to add. In addition, I think that if you want a light racing game to play with your children, this will definitely hit the bill for you. There's a lot of interesting things going on. I think the kids are going to need to read. You can read the cards for the kids, but I think that's kind of a stepping stone in the game. It just adds a little bit on. I played it with kids that couldn't read before, and it's like so many cards that you're trying to manage. Maybe one child who can't read would be enough. If you want to play without the special powers, it's not in the rules, but I think you can do that with younger gamers. But the game works pretty well. This is a great family racing game, and one I recommend highly, 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 highly. Keeper for us.